Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dev Diary, where today we're continuing to work on our building action raft-like. Now last time we continued adding content in the form of tougher enemies and loot boxes, the basic foundations for more interesting concepts later down the line. However, today we take a break from adding new content to fix and improve existing content. Now, fair warning, today's episode is all about the code. Having said that, today's goal is to improve our menu system in preparation for things like crafting and inventory management. Originally, the idea was to use a bunch of arrays that could hold data for buttons and other information for each menu. Eventually, I realized how absurd this was and switched to using structs instead. Each menu would now be a struct with its own list of buttons, margin details, and whatever else would be required. Buttons were then generated for each menu using the corresponding struct data. And for now, for testing purposes, I simply had each menu appear further to the right than the last. Then in the draw code, menus would be drawn based on the menu page variable fed through the array system. In other words, our menus were now based on struct data, buttons included, making the creation and managing of menus much easier. An attempt to add a dynamic black background based on menu sizes was made, but my math was severely off, which I somewhat blame on just how tired I was during this session. Anyway, with something resembling a visually broken menu aside, it was time to add back the functionality. So the previous code was converted to work on a switch system based on the current menu page. So much like last time, the first menu would be the inventory menu, the second would be the crafting menu, and the third is probably going to be something at some point later down the line. And again, thanks to the button system, this was extremely easy to implement. Now, originally this is where I caught it for this session, with plans to record more later after I'd gotten some rest. However, the very next day, GameMaker updated and completely broke my project. So I was unable to record another session in time for this video, meaning that brings us to the end of an unexpectedly short episode of Dev Diary. So if you managed to still enjoy today's entry, please consider leaving a like. Be sure to also subscribe and hit that bell if you haven't already. And seriously, huge apologies for the unintended short length of today's episode. Still, leave any thoughts and opinions you may have in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.